All right, well, we have Jefferson, Iowa here today with us.
We didn't want to have a community, which I recall, with rotten teeth in it.
They have seen those first couple of successful projects. It builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. What we've learned out of this is that it is a practice in patience about how this happens.
You can't do it all yourself, just like you can't shovel the streets by yourself.
Welcome to another edition of Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. With me, as always, is my friend, your co-host, and the mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, Brad Cavanagh. Brad, good to see you again. We're talking Iowa.
Yes, we are, Dave. Glad to be here again.
We had a little delay getting started because you had to dig out from snow. This is we're talking February. We're recording this a little before then. How much snow you got today?
It's winter in Iowa. I'm just going to gauge. I'm going to guess 4 inches.
Oh, that's not bad.
We're getting to the part of the year where it doesn't matter so much. You just know whether you have to shovel or not. So you just have to get out there. But it was enough that it took some time this morning. Yes,
all right. Well, glad to have you with us. The shovel's away. Your buttclucks are gone. So yes. Who are we talking to today? Who are our guests?
All right. Well, we have Jefferson, Iowa here today with us. And I want to introduce Mayor Craig Berry, first of all, and then also Scott Peterson, City Administrator from the town of Jefferson. So welcome, you guys.
Yeah,
great. Good morning. Glad to be here.
Well, and we're here because you are an All-Star Community Award winner from the Iowa League of Cities, and we are here to talk about some of the huge restoration you guys have done in downtown Jefferson. So first of all, congratulations on being an All-Star Community Award winner. Not your only award, you're also an American Main Street Award winner for your renovations. Let's just jump right in. What about all of these renovations are you proudest of?
As mayor, I'm proud of everything. It's been a great partnership with the city and with the building owners to maintain their buildings and keep them from falling down.
When did you decide you had to do something about this? And this is a problem across America, and I'm sure Mayor Cavanagh can speak to this as well, is that, the downtown districts of a lot of cities, especially in Iowa, have had challenges in the last several years. Right, Brad? What are the problems, and when did you guys in Jefferson realize you needed to do something about this?
Well, 13 years ago, we had a building that was getting redone, and then a facade of a building right next door was not in good shape, and it kind of fell down. The facade did, not the building, but just the facade of it. And we decided at the time that let's see if we can get involved with the building owners, and what's the biggest venue to get through, the vehicle we need to go through to get some of these buildings redone. And of course, being a smaller community, we're only like 4,200. We're showing lack of retail business in the downtown. And of course, the building owners, unless they got income coming in, they're not going to work on the facades or the roofs. And this way, it was a way for the city to partner with the building owners to get some stuff done.
But this has to get hard, and either mayor can speak to this. This has got to be a hard project to start, right?
I was on the original committee to become a Main Street community, and it was a little difficult getting off the ground to get started. It took us a while, probably after we were approved and certified, it took us probably 6 to 8 months to 12 months just to get going, so we could figure out where we needed to position the city in a way that we can help, basically financially, with the building owners, to partner with them to do it. And of course, going through the TIF programs and the historic downtown tax credits and that type of stuff, we managed to create a vehicle where these buildings can be redone.
So across America, that small downtowns, especially in rural places, have been replaced by strip malls and big box stores and regional shopping areas. How do you tell people, oh no, we need a downtown, we have to rebuild our downtown? How do you approach that? How do you start that conversation?
The county that we live in, we're made up of 6 or 7 communities. The other communities are not, their buildings are not as good a shape. And since we've got the typical downtown square with the county seat, the courthouse in the middle of it, and the buildings around it. We thought we needed to just make sure that we didn't want to have a community, which I would call with rotten teeth in it, where you have buildings coming down, and if a building falls down, there's a chance of buildings on either side of them were not in that good a shape too.
Right.
Then,
okay. So you needed to do a whole restoration of the whole area. Yeah.
Yeah. You just want to keep the buildings up. Yeah. And the Main Street process, we worked with real well. We partnered with the state and got them on board too. So it has worked out quite well for us.
I actually have a question about that kind of brings to mind, because this is one of those things that, when we talk about projects like this one that have been really successful and, they've really taken off in this way, a lot of people, I think the first question in their mind is, how do you get it started? And, you kind of talked about the process of what the catalyst was and why you were doing it. But I am curious a little bit more to hear, you said there was some community level discussions and you've got members of the community and business owners involved. Did you do that first, or did you start looking at the ways to fund it first? Was the catalyst like federal or state money to get it done, or was it more grassroots, from the community itself?
Well, I hate to muddle the question, but it was a little bit of both. I mean,
that's a good answer.
We had to dovetail with the building owners, with the state, and everything together to get. And we were kind of like the lead group on it. The city was, and then of course we got Main Street going, and then they became the lead group. It's a combination of everybody volunteering to get on, and the building owners, and people were skeptical when it first started. We got a lot of comments on it. We had just done a downtown reconstruction of the streets and streetlights, and we wanted to maintain what we had. And convincing some of the building owners that it was a good deal. It just takes actually one or two buildings to get redone, and people will say that, and I'll go, "Wow, well, can I do that?" Yeah. And it kind of spreads, not like a plague, but it spreads around.
Right.
And so it worked, and there were a lot of people who were skeptical outside the downtown, who were citizens of the downtown, but once they saw what could be done, they were really pleased with it.
So, Mayor Cavanagh, I want to ask you. Now, I've been to Paul's Tavern in beautiful downtown Dubuque, and I've also been to your favorite place, Jubec, in downtown Dubuque. You've got a little bit of a revitalization going in your downtown as well. Both Jefferson and Dubuque are part of Main Street, Iowa. How do you tell people, no, let's move into a neighborhood that isn't there yet? How do you have that conversation with local business?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think I'll echo Mayor Barry a little bit here on this one, because it really was kind of both at the same time of trying to identify what community members want and getting that buy-in from community members that might not quite be there yet, but letting that drive the process. If your community doesn't want it, and they really don't, they're going to make that clear. And I think it's our role as elected officials and appointed officials in city government to be the ones to help the community realize what it is that they want, that they're dreaming about. But at the same time, you do have to have those partnerships at the state level and federal level, because these things are going to cost a lot of money. You're going to need resources. You're going to need help. So I think, for us here in Dubuque, it's been a fairly similar story. Obviously, we're bigger, so we are kind of working on several areas of town at the same time, but it really has been, for the story of Dubuque in the last 20 years, has been working on the riverfront first, and then from the riverfront moving to another district in the downtown area, and then now moving on to even further into the downtown area in some ways. And I do think that the number one thing that I've noticed is a lot like what Mayor Barry said. You have to have people who are invested in this in terms of time, in terms of money, who live in the community and really want it. They're the ones that are going to be driving the bus the whole time. So it is important to make sure that you have that from the start, and then continue to engage people.
So Scott, let me bring you into the conversation. You're the city administrator, Scott Peterson. Tell me what it was that you actually said to people, to businesses, about moving back into a downtown that, again, wasn't a vital downtown yet. What do you say to them?
Yeah, I tell you, for me, the answer is pretty simple, because I come into the process and really kind of more towards the end of the game. I've been with the city now for a little bit less than 3 years. So we've seen those dramatic changes downtown, and people have already witnessed a lot of those, and you see the successes that come along with that. When you compare some downtowns across Iowa, and I wish we had nothing but glowing stories of downtown success across Iowa, it just is tough to do. And that's what really makes our downtown so successful. So they have seen those first couple of successful projects. It builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And before too long, you do have folks who really are interested in having that downtown be their location. And then the vibrancy builds upon vibrancy, and really some success can come of that.
So, Scott, you and I talked a little bit when we met in Des Moines at the Iowa League of Cities annual conference. And from there, I got some statistics. Maybe these have been updated. 32 out of 52 downtown buildings have been renovated in some way, shape, or form. Is that correct?
That is true, yes.
That's pretty impressive. And more to come, right? This is an ongoing project.
And more to come. Yeah, there's a few of them that still need to be done. But for the most part, it's coming to the end of the initial phase about having all of the buildings redone.
All right.
So feeling really good about that. And then it's building upon that. It's having those successful businesses downtown and making sure that those businesses remain successful, or if it's time for a change, that you bring in new businesses that also will be very successful downtown.
So one of the projects we talked about was a hardware store that has apparently been transformed to a bar. And so this ongoing process is ongoing as of about a month ago. Tell me about the new public house.
You bet. So yeah, the public house is a new business class restaurant in the downtown area. So invite everybody over to Jefferson now to experience this, because the transformation of this building is truly dramatic. So it's about 3 storefronts in the downtown area that used to be an Ace Hardware store.
Okay.
And over the course of years, the Ace Hardware had relocated out onto the highway to bigger facilities. And the building became available.
So it's a win all around. You move the hardware store to another operation, and you move somebody into the old place.
Yeah, absolutely. And the end result, we are now finally able to see this. But what we've learned out of this is that it is a practice in patience about how this happens. Because as you look about how a successful project comes to be, and it's several $1 million to redo this building, well, it's not that the building owners can do that on their own, and it's not that they could just do that with a little assistance from the city. It is really getting all those other entities involved. And this is where the tax credits come into play. And you work through that process, okay? Knowing the process and being able to work through the process, it certainly is a specialty. And you need some help in order to work through those things. But when you find that out and you have these opportunities for these significant amount of dollars, those are what makes the projects really be able to come together. It is these partnerships, public-private partnerships, but really public at all level. Because there are there's some state dollars involved and lots of federal tax credits, and the city's happy to be a partner also.
Brad, do you think I could get a famous Iowa stuffing sandwich at the new public house?
It's called a turkey and dressing sandwich, Dave. We got to get this right. We keep calling it a stuffing sandwich, and I know what you mean, but we call it a turkey and dressing sandwich here.
Can I get one of those?
This is a pretty Dubuque thing, you guys. Do they have turkey and dressing there in Jefferson?
But boy, we'd have to talk with them about getting
not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right.
That's all right. It's a fairly East Coast thing, as we might say in Iowa, right? Actually, you guys brought something up, though, real quick about that. I want to make sure I ask it. You said about the partnerships at the federal and state level. These are important conversations that we're having right now in Iowa a lot because of the fact that, these types of partnerships are the way that we actually get this type of project done. Can you talk a little bit more about the state, or I guess mainly the federal tax credits that you said, but then also, any sort of state funding that you've been able to access for this?
You bet. Again, we're a Main Street community, and having that Main Street organization there to help out, they can provide a lot of guidance. And for Main Street community, it works out great. But if you're not a Main Street community, Department of Economic Development is still going to help you through their Downtown Resource Center. So they have access to this information, and really they can really be some key people to speak with on that. But as you learn as you get into these projects, and one of the major funding sources is these tax credits. In this case, they're historical tax credits. And being able to work through that historical tax credit process, it takes a lot of education. It takes education for for the developer, and it takes education for the community to really know what's involved. Because again, if you're going to learn something out of this, you'll learn that they don't happen overnight. It takes quite a while to work through the process. So we are very fortunate that we got a local developer who has worked through this process and has worked several of the downtown building projects and has assisted us with ultimately creating some fantastic projects downtown.
Yeah, that's great to hear. You know, the historic tax credits are such a great tool, and we use them a lot in Dubuque too. But I'm always happy to hear when the smaller communities in Iowa are able to access them in the way that you did. That's great news.
All right, so here's my question. Who decided to put art on the roof?
That was done by the Main Street committee called the design team. And we were, I don't know, we were the second community, I think, in the United States to do that.
So let me just make sure I have this right, because I only read about this. I wanted to ask you about this. On a lot of the renovated buildings in downtown, you have put art projects, murals on the roofs. Correct.
Yeah, we've got about a half a dozen right now, and I think there's plans for 3 more this summer.
And apparently this is a big tourist draw.
It seems to be, yeah. In our downtown, we've got a memorial bell tower. It's Carillon, and you can take an elevator up to the top where you go up 170 some feet. Well, on one of the things when you go up there is what there's to look at, because we're farmland here, and it's nothing but green outside the city limits. And you look at the tops of the roofs, and you can tell who's doing what on top. Well, so they decided, well, let's put some rooftop art on there.
All right. Do you have a favorite?
No, not really. Okay. I mean, they're all good. They're all really good. Too bad we don't have any pictures here that we can show you.
We could, you know what? Well, we can put some of those on a show notes thing. So I'll get those from you. I'll give you a chance to brag a little bit about your project, but I'll start it off. As I understand it, as a result of the Jefferson renovation, you have 45 new businesses. You've got over 100 new jobs. A total of 115 buildings have been involved in all these renovations. And you've got close to 60,000 people who volunteered hours to really work on downtown. I'm done bragging on you. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, well, and I'm sure the mayor of Dubuque will figure it out. You can't do it all yourself, just like you can't shovel the streets by yourself. You've got to actually be a cheerleader. You get the right people in the right committees, in the right organization, and then you become a cheerleader, giving them all these opportunities to, whether it's acquire money or historic tax credits or whatever, and you just kind of keep, the momentum builds if you're the right cheerleader.
Brad, are you a cheerleader?
I'm the head cheerleader. So
yeah, it's exactly right. I completely agree with that. I mean, and I think actively of myself in that role pretty frequently. There are times where I do think it's really important that we have, us as leaders, the ability to remind everybody of the things that we are doing really well, but then also keep pushing, kind of leading from behind, as they say, to be able to keep pushing when you need to get that momentum where it needs to be and keep people actively engaged. But yeah, it is. It's good to be a cheerleader in those roles for sure.
You'll find out we've been active 12, 13 years in this downtown project. And every now and then, every 3, 4, 5 years, it kind of slows down. And then that's when you've got to give a little push here, give a little push there, do a little rah-rah, beating on the drums, that type of thing. So
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, just as long as Paul's Tavern stays renovated in downtown Dubuque, I think everybody will be happy in your city, right?
Yeah, don't worry about that. I don't think Paul's going anywhere.
I don't think so. All right. So listen, gentlemen, we have a couple of questions we'd like to ask you. I'll start it off first. So either one of you, what makes Jefferson a real Iowa city?
Jefferson is in the middle of farm ground, and we're an agricultural community here, but we're also the county seat of Greene County, and people enjoy Jefferson. We've had a lot of people move to Jefferson who say this is where they want to be. We've got a great school system. We've got a great hospital. We got all the amenities people need. And that was kind of too with the downtown. We need a place for people to congregate, to visit, to do whatever. And that's basically what the downtown is. We have annual festival. We have different odds and ends going on downtown, basically monthly or every 6 months. And we've drawn in people And also with the arts, we're pushing on the arts. You talked about the art on the roof. We've got art on we decided to do the alleys in the backside of buildings. I mean, you have to drive down the alley to see the art. And so we're expanding our art footprint in the city.
Brad?
Well, our next question here, because we have this group of questions we love to ask. Good government can be pretty hard to deliver. What's been a pleasant surprise about running your city?
Sure, yeah, I'd jump right in on that, because in relative terms, I'm still a relative newcomer to Jefferson. Been here a little bit less than 3 years. But what I would tell you about our community that really draws you to the community does deal with the people and how the people become engaged in their community. Okay, so we've seen those impacts in the downtown area, and we've seen all the volunteer hours through Main Street and all of the successes that come along with that. Those same things revolve around into good government then too. So you're really relying on the people then to assist you in your mission. And we've got some great people who do, and they help out in the city government. And ultimately, we're in service of those people, but those same people are here to help out the government too. Feel real good about that. That's one thing that attracted me to the community is how I decided that if people in Jefferson want something to get done, they will get it done. And that is a wonderful feeling to have is to know that the folks can drive their community. Doesn't necessarily fall back on the government to be the driver of anything. And it's wonderful to see that. So, I think the expectations of our people are that we are a good government, that we always stay forward thinking, be able to deliver those services in an effective and efficient manner, and really stay on top of our game and have the community, all those base services in the community that we really need so that our community can continue to thrive.
All right. So the show is called Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. We've talked about the Jefferson renovation project in downtown. Tell me about another good government project you're really excited about in your town.
We've got new buildings going up outside. We've got a 2-block around the square that is basically what we were working on with the buildings. But we've got other buildings going up. We've got that historic district. And we got businesses coming in. We've got a couple of new businesses that are showing up. In fact, they just finished. We're at the south of the intersection of Highway 4 and Highway 30 here in Iowa. And we've got a new incubator business that just started up. What it is it's going to be a place where people who don't really can't afford to buy like a building to set up their business. But what they do is I believe it's 6 stalls or 8 stalls, and they can set up in there and just pay rent just to see how their business is going to go, how to incubate the business and that type of stuff.
And I got to believe that the downtown renovation has led to business improvement around the city. So one leads to the other.
Yeah. Well, again, we talked about being a cheerleader. We talked about, what to do, but it is actually expanded throughout the whole city. It is just, people are excited about Jefferson. I mean, we're having fun here. So, hey,
well, it's good to have fun because you're a cheerleader. Yeah. So what better place? Brad, last one.
Yeah, well, I know I'm excited about Jefferson. I mean, first, I want to congratulate you guys. I mean, congratulations on your awards, but also on the work that you're doing. I mean, it's exciting to see. And the pictures that I'm looking at, especially of the art and things. And I'd love to be able to take a trip out. So I'm definitely going to make that something on my list for this year. But
you keep adding to my list.
Yeah. My final question is, what is your favorite place in Jefferson?
The Mahaney Bell Tower here in town, being one of the favorite places. When a tourist comes to town, this is the place that they go, is to the bell tower. Up the elevator they go, and then they're looking around the community. But then the uniqueness of that place is just it is really engaging as far as whether it is the uniqueness of the tower. The bells go off every hour on the hour, and they all play songs. It's an interesting place to be, but what you see when you're up there is what's more interesting to me. Not just the community, not just you can see all of the neighboring communities also, but you're up there and reliving the Jefferson experience while you're there. One of my favorite places.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
No. You got to come up with a new one. No, not letting you do that.
My
Come
favorite
on.
place.
Yes.
Where would my favorite place be in Jefferson?
Your favorite place in Jefferson. You're the mayor. You've been there for quite some time. I think this is your fourth term, right?
These places, if I say something, then I'm going to piss off all the people who are on the other side.
Well, right now you're pissing me off because you're not answering the question. Right? So come on. What's your favorite place?
I don't know.
It is always a risk.
But I feel as mayor, what you have to do is you have to take personal possession of the whole town. I mean, you've got to be concerned whether it's the downtown where we're doing this, or it's the swimming pool that the city has, or it's the neighborhood way up in the northwest corner of the city. You've got to encompass the whole town with your vision and what you need to do.
I don't know, Mayor Cavanagh. We were letting Mayor Barry get away with that one.
Dave.
You do?
I like that answer. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Craig Barry, the mayor of Jefferson, Scott Peterson, the city administrator for Jefferson, congratulations on being an All-Star Community Award winner from the Iowa League of Cities. Great job on the renovation. I look forward to a turkey and stuffing sandwich someday on the menu at the public house. And keep the good work going. We will talk again. Thank you very much. Thanks for having you. And Brad, as always, great to have you on the show. Great to explore more of Iowa.
Good to be here, Dave.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Now that you've listened to Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities, make sure you listen to The Good Government Show, another show from Valley Park Productions. On The Good Government Show, I talk with mayors, commissioners, and leaders from across government about what works. We talk about what government means and how we can get the best out of government. So join me right here where you're listening now to The Good Government Show. That's our show. Thanks for listening. Join us again right here for the next episode of Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. Make sure you like us and share us with your friends. Follow us on Facebook. Leading Iowa is a Valley Park production in association with the Iowa League of Cities. The show is executive produced by Katie Wheeler and Brad Cavanagh for the Iowa League of Cities. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are executive producers for Valley Park Productions. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic.